Hey guys, what's up everyone? So me and Buzz Aldrin will tell you about my stock picking process. And why I want to tell you about this, because I want to share with you, over the last 1 year alone, I more than triple the performance of the S&P 500. S&P 500 returned close to 17%, while I have close to 62%. Not bad, right? And I've been outperforming the S&P 500 for many years. So I start to be like quite confident that my stock picking strategy and my investment strategy in the stock market, not only in stocks but also in crypto, but in this case I'm talking about stocks, there is something there, right? So I want to tell you about it. And I also want to tell you to start that my stock picking success rate is not that amazing, okay? If I pick like 10 different stocks, only like 6 will be positive in the long term. Typically, out of 10 stocks that I pick, 3 will perform like really well, 200, 300% performance. 3 of them will be just okay, just fine. 2 of them will underperform a little bit, and the other 2 will go down the toilet. So I don't think there is like no one in the world, no trader, no investor have like 100% success rate. But if I pick like 6 out of 10, it's already quite good, I would say. And this shows the importance of diversification. If you invest all your money in 1 or 2 or 3 stocks, that's quite risky. So at the moment, I have approximately 50 different stocks. And people will say, oh my God, so many stocks, like that's too diversified. Well, I don't think it's too diversified because you just saw my returns. I have like 1 year, 60%. I tripled the S&P 500 with like a portfolio of 50 stocks. So having diversification is not like total enemy of diluting your returns. Okay, anyway, back to the stock picking. So what I do is first I start by researching for ideas. I read a lot of every day. I read newsletters, I read websites, articles on Seeking Alpha. I have a couple of Discord channels. I receive trade alerts from trading desks of funds. For example, I receive all the trades from the ARK Invest funds. And sometimes I see a name that pops up and it's like, oh, what's this company? What's this stock? Or there is a name that I see a lot, and then I go ahead and do the research on those stocks. So that's pretty much how I find trades, ideas, how I go and do the research. Okay, then when I find an interesting stock, I go and do the due diligence, which I share in my Be Limitless community. If you are part of the community, you have access to all my trade alerts. But I go ahead and try to understand what's the product, what's the market of the company, what's the moat, what's their strengths, what's their expansion planning. So basically try to understand what is the company trying to do. And then very importantly, I always have a fundamental analysis, intrinsic value investing approach. So I want to find stocks that have good performance, they have like growing revenue, growing income, all the numbers are doing well, but the stock price is not growing at the same level, okay? So I want to find companies whose stock price over the last 5 years is not matching the growth of the business itself. So you want to find, let's say, companies whose business is growing like this and the stock price is like here. So there is a margin of safety there. That's what we call the margin of safety. For example, one of my recent investments is Lululemon. Lululemon is the price of the stock is now at the 5-year low, okay? And it dropped from all-time high to now, it dropped like 60%. Despite the fact that over the last 5 years, the revenue grows every year, the income grows every year, the ratios like the price to sales ratio, the PE ratio, the forward PE ratio is now at the best level of the last 5 years. The company is expanding to Asia, is going to expand to India, but because the margins are not very good and people feel that maybe it's cooling down a little bit, the price of the stock dropped like 60%. So what I see here is a company that is still growing. It has been growing every year for the last 5 years, and the price of the stock is the lowest in 5 years. So this is what we want to find, is companies that have been growing quite a lot, but the price of the stock is not growing at the same speed. So I do that. I do also just a little bit of technical analysis, and then I try to understand the risk-reward ratio. Okay, so if I'm going to risk $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 in this stock, how much can I eventually lose? How much can it drop further? It can drop maybe 50%. But what's the upside? Okay, if the company goes to a more fair value, it might double in price, might go up 50%, might go up 200%. So I want to understand, okay, if I'm going to risk X, what can be my outcome and what's the probability? So this is what I call the EV, the expected value of your investment. To understand this expected value, you need to, okay, what's the probability of an outcome? So there is no 100% probability that Lululemon will go up, but 60% of my stock picks go up, so maybe 60% chance of the stock going up. And if it goes up, how much does it go up? I think it can double in price, Lululemon, over the next like 2-3 years or so. So okay, this seems to be a decent bet for me. Worst case scenario, okay, drop 50%, it can double in price, the risk-reward ratio is positive. Okay, so I go ahead and invest in the stock. If it is a low conviction, so it's like, this is a good investment, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, maybe I invest like 0.5% of my portfolio into it. I allocate 0.5% of my entire portfolio. If I have a high conviction into it, I allocate 1.5%, 2% of my money into it. That's basically what I do. Finally, when do I sell this stock? Well, I sell if the circumstances of the market or if the reasons that took me to buy the stock is no longer there. Okay, imagine the stock go up really a lot and it's like time to sell because you cannot grow much more, or the management change or the market change and you think that there is no potential there, then you can sell the stock. Sometimes I also sell partially. So if you think like, well, this stock already gave me amazing returns, 200, 500, 1000%. Yes, you can trim down, you can sell 1/3, half of your stock. But if you still believe that the business can continue to grow, maybe you can leave part of your investment there. So that's pretty much my investment process. It's very simple. Maybe one more thing. If I invest in a stock that I have like high conviction and then the price starts dropping further, I continue buying. DCA, dollar cost averaging down the price. The price drops 10%, I buy more. Drops 5 or 10% again, I buy more and buy more and buy more, unless the company is really like, okay, no longer has value, then I stop buying and it's a write-off. Okay, I lost the money, but that's quite rare to happen. What happens more often is the price will recover and you'll have amazing returns. Some of my best performing stocks like Palantir and Meta, I did that. Like in 2022, the price started declining, and I keep buying and buying and always buying the dip and buying the dip and buying the dip. And sometimes it's a bit painful because it's like you buy the dip and keeps dipping. It's like, and you start to doubt your investment capabilities and will the stock ever recover? But look at the numbers, look at the fundamentals, look at the company is doing, look at their sales, and that will give you clues that the stock price will recover. And that's what most of the times happen. And then finally you'll be very happy. Okay, so this is my investment process, kind of high level. Usually I take maybe for each stock that I invest, I take maybe just a couple of hours doing the due diligence. Sometimes I'm comparing stocks, like let's say I have like 5 AI stocks that I plan to invest in, and I end up only investing in 1 or 2 of them because I will try to understand which ones has best potential. In terms of tools, I use a lot of Fiscal.ai. It's like a quite nice tool to have access to all the data, to all the numbers of the company, to analyze the company, analyze the quarterly reports and so on. I also use TradingView. I have a few indicators that I created, but TradingView is more for technical analysis. But anyway, if you want to check those indicators, you can also follow me on TradingView. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.